Yo, what is good, people of YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Justin Bieber's been all over the place with this album, this docu-series, the interviews, the talk shows, everything. Once again, it's just super dope to see that he's back. Basically, about an hour ago, he's uploaded his interview with Zane Lowe for Apple Music, just talking about more so where he's been at in his life, you know, the inspiration behind the album, just everything. So I'm gonna give like a little side-by-side reaction, commentary to the interview and everything he's saying, and just better understand where he's at in the Biebs and his life, and just try and learn, once again, take the good, take the bad, and just grow with him, grow alongside him, you know? Let's get right into it.
Well, it's great to see you, man. Congratulations on completing the music.
I appreciate that.
It's exciting. I mean, it's such a tasteful sounding record. And
Appreciate that.
just the arrangements and, I mean, talk about giving you space to perform and just extend your vocal ability, which everyone already knows. It's like you're the best at what you do, but
Thank you.
it sounds so effortless. I don't know. It just sounds like you're in a super comfortable place vocally on this record.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm getting into like I mean, we can wait. You want to wait to get this on camera? I just feel like.
I mean, we're recording, right?
Are we recording?
I'd rather just start.
Yeah,
I don't really have a big introduction.
Yeah, cool. I like that. I like that. Like you said, I feel like I'm in a cool vein, but I haven't really. This album is super. It's just not very deep, you know. Yeah, I didn't go there like that. You know what I mean? I didn't go super deep with it. Thank you.
The last 2 or 3 years which have led up to this album, there's been some really significant change in your life, and the album being called Changes focuses on one. And
So he's talking about how he didn't go too deep with it. I feel like that's very much how pop music is. You want to appeal to the masses, you want to chart, so you don't want to be super messagey with it. You just kind of want to put if there's a feel to the song, that's kind of what you want to get out. It's catchy, it's feely, the chorus is good, then you know you're good to go. So it makes sense. Plus it's not really Bieber style to go super like, you know, pushing one specific message. It's like, I'm in love, I'm happy, I feel good, and my music like translates that.
get to a place of happiness, and this album is a happy album. I mean, it's really, you know, it feels to me like a musical tribute to your relationship. But I want to kind of kick the timeline off in 2017, and I always feel like there's a point with you, Justin, where you give so much, and you've got to a point where you've got to stop. But it's like the train is running, you know what I mean? So it has to stop in a dramatic fashion. Why did you stop the tour in 2017, and what was the reason for that?
I was really tired emotionally, physically, and I was sick, and I didn't realize I was sick. So I had like Epstein-Barr, which is like, it's called mono, and then I have Lyme disease. So it was that. It was just, you know, the exhaustion of just being on tour, and then it was like, it was just everything compounded, I think, to be honest.
How did you feel when the tour came to an end?
I mean, it didn't really come to an end. I was supposed to do a bunch of stadiums, but, you know, once the American leg or the European leg or wherever I came from last was done, I was like, this is it for me. I mean, I pushed through, you know, the last month or two, and I couldn't believe I pushed through that. So when they were like, you know, we got to.
He's literally shaking, like
this is not going to be good.
He's like scarred from this experience.
And it's just, no, it won't work. And I'm someone who pushes until it's like, you know, till it's like the last straw. So I just couldn't do it.
You knew instinctively that something was going on with your physical state.
Yeah, I knew there was something not right.
So there's a comment that's like, I'm noticing this too. It says, hate seeing how much confidence he's lost. You can tell in his body language with crossed arms, his posture being scrunched up and no eye contact. Another one is, his interviews give me anxiety and his body movements. Really hope he's okay. He's all fidgety. He's not too comfortable with where, like, I guess doing interviews and being back in the spotlight, I guess, you know. Zoo animal lifestyle, man. Crazy.
I was doing everything right on tour. I mean, I wasn't,
like fidgeting.
You know, I was
blinking a lot.
Keeping to myself. I was keeping on as much of a structured schedule as I could. I was doing the ice bath every day. I was eating salmon twice a day. Like, I was doing the right thing to try to take care of my body, and it was just like nothing was, just felt depleted and felt shitty all the time. So I was like, you know, and then that took an emotional toll on me. So I was like, you know, I just didn't know what the hell was going on.
How have you adapted to that experience, knowing now that you have Lyme disease, and how has it adjusted your lifestyle and how you move forward, and what changes have you noticed?
I think just making sure that I am just doing the right treatments for it, doing the right IVs and all that sort of stuff, taking the necessary precautions necessary to not get any worse, I guess. Listen to
You look
Haley
so
when she says
uncomfortable.
she feels that I'm run down, and it's good to have her as, you know, checks and balances. She can let me know when I'm like, all right, you're looking depleted right now, and
It's clear to anyone who hears this album, and also to anyone who takes an interest in your life as a fan,
right.
that the two of you have found, you know, a really important bond, and that this marriage has been a hugely important development in your life.
It's been a big reason of why I'm coming back and I'm successful at this. I think she is definitely the reason. There'd be no story without her. There would be no... She just ties it all together. I mean, she giving me substance to talk about. She's the person that I'm learning to, you know, love unconditionally, start a family with. So, you know, regardless if I sell another record, I mean, I have a lot of peace just knowing that I have the rest of my life to build a relationship with a solid foundation, trust and patience and all the things that go into building a healthy relationship.
When I listen to the sort of what's been said from either of you, it's been documented in the series, but also what you've said, it sounds like
He looks
both
sad.
of you to some degree knew it was right, but you were both had to go and sort of, in your own way, sort of confirm or qualify that was the case.
Right.
How did you know? And there's a song on the album which really refers to that, which is that's what real love is, you know.
Yeah.
And how did you kind of know?
I'd let her know prior to the tour when we were hanging a lot. I said, listen, I'm still really hurt and still trying to figure out my way, and I'm not ready to make a commitment to you in a way that, you know, I just don't want to say something and do the opposite, because I just don't. I was at the point where I'd done that in the past, and I just was like honest with her. I was like, you know, I'm not in a place to, you know, be faithful and all this sort of stuff that I wanted to be, you know, but I just wasn't there yet. And so
And what was hurting you at the time? You said you were still hurt.
I think I was just hurt from my previous relationship. I think I still was dealing with a lot of unforgiveness and all that sort of stuff. So, to be honest, I don't think I even knew what I was really struggling with at the time. I don't think I knew I was dealing with unforgiveness. I was just in a place where I knew I didn't want to, like, tell her one thing, and, like, you know, I felt like she respected me at the time, and I had a lot of respect for her. And so I just didn't want to, like, say something, and then she'd see me off doing some other thing. And so, but either way, she loved me, and seeing me with other people hurt her. And so, with that being said, she went out and did things that hurt me. And so it was just this hurt. I hurt her, she hurt me. And then before tour, we just really stopped talking. I was really upset. And
I'm gonna assume they were seeing other people and doing stuff with other people. Like, Haley went on a date with Drake, which must have been insanely painful for the Biebs, and Biebs was obviously, like, sleeping around with models. So, yeah, a lot there, but just crazy.
Then, you know, before that, in my previous relationship, I went off and just went crazy and went wild, just was, you know, being reckless. This time I took the time to, like, really build myself and focus on, you know, me, and try to make the right decisions and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, I got better. And so she would reach out to people that were like, that we knew.
Checking on you.
And check in, and she would get like you would hear, right? You'd hear like, oh, he's doing so well. And she would be so pissed off because she's like, he's not doing well without me. Like, just, you know, normal, like, right? Like, normal.
Facts.
Right? And
If you want to think you're happy for someone, it's sucks to hear that they're happy for you.
Yeah.
yeah. And so, she would hear this, right? You'd hear this, and it would just be, you'd just be like, what? He's doing well? Like.
But in a way, you're kind of trying to get better because you recognize there's something that is unresolved here in a weird way.
Right. I just didn't know what the heck was going on, and so I really took a deep dive in my faith, to be honest. I just went deep into, like, I believed in Jesus, but I never really, like, you know, when it says following Jesus is actually turning away from sin, and so there's no...
This is dope.
What it talks about in the Bible, it's like there's no obedience, there's no faith without obedience, so it's like I had faith about, like, oh, I believe Jesus died on the cross for me, but I never really implemented it into my life. I never was
this
like,
is lit.
I'm gonna be obedient. So I was like, I wasn't sleeping around. I wasn't doing a lot of stuff. I just was kind of by myself. And
How did you make? Who helped you come to that? Because I'm sure there are a lot of, and I don't mean this in a judgmental way. It's just
Right.
humanity, and everyone's on their own journey. There are a lot of people who are practicing one belief or another, but as you say, it's different when you say it as opposed to actually acting within its guidelines, which are there to give you ultimate focus, right, on what's important. So when did you decide to actually move within the guidelines, and how did you find yourself away from, yeah, I believe in Jesus, but I'm going to drink or do drugs or sleep around or all these other distractions? How did you get out of that world? What was the turning point for you?
I think it was my
That's a good
perception
question.
of who Jesus really was, you know? I'd had really bad examples of Christians in my life who would say one thing and do another. So they were my direct example of who Jesus was.
That's why you didn't take it seriously.
I didn't take it as seriously because I didn't have good examples.
Good role models.
Yeah, and so I think the more I really looked at the character of who Jesus really was.
Did you grow up in a Christian household?
I grew up in a Christian household, yeah. But my mom was, she was really hurt growing up. I mean, she had so many things going on in her life, so she was navigating her faith journey. For me, it was just confusing because she'd say one thing and then, like, she would say, well, you're forgiven, but then I'd do something bad or whatever was supposedly bad, but then she'd make me feel ashamed for it. So it's like, well, if Jesus forgives me, then why are you making me feel bad for doing something? Like, obviously there's like a form of like, we gotta make sure we keep our kids accountable and punish our kids so that they learn from their mistakes. But like, if there's this God named Jesus who died for our sins so that we don't have to live in shame, then why? It was just things like that would make me really question, like,
Bieber's blessed, man.
Jesus
It's
guy?
so
And I
sick
didn't really
that he's
take a
talking about
deep
Jesus.
look into who he was.
It's tough. I mean, I get it. Like this, hey man,
I
our
love
parents
this
do the best
so
they
much.
can, and I've been through my own, situations where I've
Yeah.
confronted the things that have affected my life's choices.
Exactly.
But at some point, you got to come to a decision. You got to take responsibility for your own perception of those situations, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you run around just blaming everybody, and that's an entitled situation, right?
Yeah, it's no good.
It entitles you to behave however you want. You know what I mean?
100%.
I guess that's what I was getting at when I was talking about those tough years. Is in a way you were punishing yourself because you didn't have the answers, right?
Mhm. I think so. That's a good way to put it. Yeah. I think that I was just, living in this shame, living in all this sort of stuff in my past, and I wasn't able to move on. But the more I looked at it, so now I'm not doing, the way I look at my relationship with God and with Jesus
I
is
love this, bro.
I'm not trying to earn God's love by doing good things. God has already loved me for who I am before I did anything to earn and deserve it. It's a free gift by accepting Jesus and just giving your life to him, and what he did is the gift. The forgiveness is the thing that we look at, and I'm going to worship you, God, because you gave me something so good. And so you live that life of like, I don't want to cheat on my wife, not because it's the right thing to do, but because I don't want to hurt her. See the difference there?
That is love.
Yeah. It's
You're
like,
putting the well-being of someone that you care about ahead of your own fallibilities and your own
exactly.
previous behavior.
Exactly.
And what's out there.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I love that.
Can I ask you a tough question before we focus on the future and how bright things look?
Bieb looks
Do you
more
think
comfortable
that if
now.
you
It's good.
hadn't
He's opening
redefined
up.
what Jesus was and reclaimed it into something that was worthy of practice for you, which then led you on a path of reconciliation with your wife, do you think the person that the you of then was on a path of self-destruction? Do you feel that you were self-destructing?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I would have, for sure. 100%. Yeah. 100%. It would have been no bueno. It was bad. It would have been, yeah.
Jesus
I don't
saved
know
him,
if I'd be
man.
alive
Let's
for
go.
sure. It was dark. Really dark. So I'm very, very grateful to have influences in my life that have played a huge part in me seeing their relationship with Jesus and their relationship with their wives and their relationship with their kids and saying that's what I want, and striving after that. So that's I was thinking too, it's not obviously, you know, when we want to be successful in certain things, there's things we have to work hard at, but like striving for God's love or God's approval or people's approval, it's like God's told me, he said, I mean, I don't hear from God audibly, but I feel like God's, you know, when he sees us, he's not this God that a lot of people think that's like judgmental, and he's a God that accepts us for who we are and loves us through
let's go,
our
Biebs.
pain and through our dirt.
Openly
Jesus
talking
wasn't
about
this religious elite guy that, you know, came to, but he was in the dirt, and he found me in my dirt and pulled me out, and that's why my story. That's why I'm not afraid. I want to talk about without forcing that into people's. I never want to be someone that's trying to persuade anyone to believe in what I believe. I think God persuades people, but I want to definitely tell my story so that if that resonates to anybody, that they can hopefully learn from it.
Bieber's using his platform to talk about his beliefs and share his human experiences and how Jesus and God has pulled him out of the darkest times in his life and made him who he is today, and a happy version of being married and living Jesus' example and being able to come out of the darkest place into a more healthy, blessed place. So I'm definitely soaking all that in and going to learn that and use that too. If you're in a place where you can share and inspire and motivate other people on this massive platform, that you should do so, and you should feel free to do so. So dope, so sick, dude. Like, openly talking about Jesus Christ